Okay, so today I'm going to offer some assistance on the financial plan. And the financial plan is explained here. It's a draft. We're doing a draft of a proposed income statement. So here are instructions. The assignment is to get you thinking about how are you going to do this. First thing you need to do is come up with some revenue. And people have a lot of difficulty with this, but if you don't know what kind of revenue you're looking at, maybe you're not ready to start a business. If you don't know what you're going to sell or how much you're going to get or how much you think you might get, maybe you're not ready, but this gives you the opportunity to take a good, hard, cold look at it. What does it take? How many units are you going to have to sell to support yourself? That's a pretty important question. So that's what this is all about. And again, in order to come up with revenue, you have to come up with it off the top of your head. Say you're selling this pen. How many pens do you need to sell to pay for rent in a building? Pretty simple stuff. The good news about this is that there's kind of no wrong answers. I mean, you can have completely unrealistic figures, which would be criticized, and you would adjust if you had completely unrealistic figures. So let's go through. What you're going to do is you're going to get revenue, estimate that, pick a month. How much are we going to sell in January? We're going to sell 200 meals a day in January, 5 days a week. What's a meal? $20. Add it up. Do the math. It's simple math. What is the cost of goods associated with that sale? And that gives you gross profit. If I was buying this pen for $1 and I sold it for $2.95, my cost of goods is $1. If I had the restaurant, the food is the cost of goods. And every restaurant knows what that's all about. They can figure it out in a number of different ways. What are they paying? What does each meal cost? Lots of different ways to figure that out. And if you even have a service, if you have a tax service, I'm paying a tax accountant to do the taxes. What am I paying that tax accountant? So cost of goods is what it costs you to make that sale. It's a little bit tricky when you get commission involved, but there's salary and there's commission. If commission is tied to the sale, then that's cost of goods sold. So anyway, here's a quick sheet right here that shows you take your revenue at the top of the page and you take out cost of goods. And that gives you profits, gross profit. That's just gross profit. And then you have to list all your expenses like food, rent, salaries, internet and licenses and fees and all that kind of stuff. Things to consider: how much are you paying yourself? Don't work for free, even yourself. I wouldn't invest in a business where a guy says, oh, I work for nothing. Well, you have to have something. And if you don't, then where's the money coming from? What about rent is also expensive. The two biggest expenses in business is going to be rent and people, labor, salaries. So those are the two things. Licenses, you got to remember all that. Fees, truck, all the little expenses, you put that in, and then at the end of the day, you're going to have net profit. Subtracting from your gross profit, you have net profit. There's the whole thing right there. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to build one right here. So I started with a revenue that you see right here. And so I'll say, okay, I'm selling widgets, and I sold 1,000 of them at $5. So I sold $5,000. There it is. We're done. Let's make that a number, and there it is. Each one of those cost me, for the $5 that I sold them for, they cost me $1, so it's going to be $1,000. I could do a formula that says it was a percentage of that, but that's just as easy. And here I can subtract this number from that number, and there is, I'm going to call it GP. It's that simple. Check it out. I got January. I can take January. I'll do a February, and let's do, I can copy this formula. Watch this. March, April, May, June. Okay, I got 6 months of revenue coming in here. The next month, I expect to earn about $7,000. And this proportion can be This number times 0.2. My cost of goods is 20%. I saw that from the next figure. Here it is. Look at this. I've got another number of $8,000. Then I sold $10,000. Let's see. Let's take all these, make them numbers, dollars, and made 12 and 13. And I've got a formula right there. I know this looks complicated, but I'm going to copy that percentage formula, and there it is. And I've got a formula right here, which is this minus that. Let's copy this all the way across. And here's what I earned. Pretty good money right there. Now I have to take out expenses, though. I have to take out salary of me, and I get $2,000 a month. Rent. My room is going to be $2,000 a month. Utilities, let's just go with $500. Insurance. I'm doing this whole assignment for you. Insurance is $400. You should know what some of these are. There's a truck. The depreciation on that truck. I got to spend $1,500 on a truck, and I got $200 for depreciation. And let's just total that up. Okay, I have my expenses right here, and I will do a subtotal right here that happens to give me the amount right there. Okay. Subtotal expenses. Okay, we got a little thing right there. So I made $4,000 of gross profit. Cost me $6,000. Let's call this net profit. I'm going to take an equal sign, and you can follow this or you can just do the math. It's a lot easier to just do the formulas here. I had this number, and then I subtract this number, and boom, I am losing $2,600 a month. But I can also take this number and copy it all the way across, because I know that I've got 6 months of fees right there. And if I were to take this number right here, I'm earning $5,000. This number, let's do the formula again. This box equals this gross profit figure. Let's make it bigger. This profit figure minus, that's a minus sign, this profit figure right here. Still losing, but take a look. I can copy and paste. I just copied all those formulas. So if I'm earning $6,400 in this next month, my cost, it takes me to earn, my expenses are going to be $6,600. I'm only losing $200 a month. Here's a magic number. This is called break even. Anything over about, obviously, $6,600 in revenue is going to be profit. So once I start earning 10 grand, 12 grand, 13 grand, I'll cover all my expenses. And look, here's profitability. So it's that simple. That's all you need. But I want you to think about all the different things that go into making this spreadsheet here. This is done. It's finished. You can do, typically a projection would be a year, and a lot of real business plans do 3 and even 5 years. 3 years is great. A year is probably what you want. But look, all you do is copy that. I could say, okay, in the next month, I'm going to hire somebody. So my salaries just went up, and then I would copy all these numbers over, and I may not make money because I just added. But you can see this is a nice tool for managers and business startups to see, what's it going to take? How much money does it cost me to run this business? I've got a big rent. You can also adjust it and say, wow, my $2,000 rent is too high. I'm not making enough money. Let's pull that down, find a new place to live. I need to look at my insurance. Maybe I should get rid of this truck costing me this much money. I don't know if that's realistic. But anyway, this is the assignment. This is where you're putting everything together, and you're making sure that you've got what you're projected selling. This is the hard one, but it's a projection. It's a guess, a logical, educated guess. Again, once I look at all the numbers here, I'm like, oh, okay, wow, I got to make some good money in order to cover all these expenses. Cost of goods can be a percentage. It's a lot easier that way, but it's what it costs you to make that, and you got to include commissions if that is true. And then expenses, I want you to list for your business all the different various expenses that are required for that. Okay, so I hope this is helpful, and really all you need to do is do it on this. You can use Google spreadsheets. Look, if you had to do it on a piece of paper, it works. It's the math. that is automatically calculated here. So I hope this is helpful. Thanks very much. This is on putting together your financial plan.